Well, hi there, guys. I have some pretty exciting news. We got a new car to play around with. And, well, it's a 2020 Toyota Supra.
They got a what? I mean, that's not a Subaru. That's not even a real Toyota. I'm not gonna put up with it.
Yeah. Bring back the Subarus. Bring back the Subarus. You guys are supposed to be a Subaru-only establishment, dudes. Does this guy not realize that this is not nearly our first non-Subaru?
I don't think he knows we've even had German cars before. Like, we've had Volkswagen.
People just don't have anything better to do nowadays, huh?
No taste, no taste.
What an idiot. You'll have to excuse Chad, everybody. He obviously really likes Subarus. Don't get any funny ideas from Chad either, though. He's not exactly the brightest person in the world. Anyways, though, here's our new, used 2020 GR Supra, sporting, of course, a 3-liter straight-six B58 motor made by BMW, as is the transmission, as is most of the suspension, the chassis, the infotainment system, and I'm sure most of the systems on this car. Toyota did add a few special touches of their own. The engine is tuned specifically for this car. The transmission has Toyota software on it. They made a few of the suspension components themselves as well, of course. The body panels are all Toyota as well. And it shows that Toyota put their special little touch on it, because this thing posts quite a better lap time than a Z4 M40i, which this car is obviously based on. So good job on that, Toyota. Now, being a used Supra, of course, it is, well, already modified. So in today's video, I'll run through some of the modifications that have already been done, talk, of course, a bit about this car itself, and, well, our plans with it, and what the hell are we doing with a GR Supra in the first place? With the car finally off the ground, let's run through some mods real quick. We got a white line front sway bar end link, and we also have white line lowering springs. That's why I had to, unfortunately, put this car on race ramps to get it up here. Some sort of mystery downpipe. I searched the internet far and wide for this thing, but just could not find anything that resembles it. So I guess we'll just refer to this an eBay downpipe and get it replaced as soon as I find an option that we like. This car is tuned. We weren't given any horsepower numbers though, but I'll tell you, once you hit the gas, boy, she go like hell. And my favorite mod on this car, an HKS catback. Just have yourself a little listen. Also at the rear, an OLM fourth brake light. We have most of these parts on the website, by the way. I'll leave links in the description in case, you want to pick some up for your Supra. Before we move on to some other mods, while I'm under here, let me just point out, look how flat the whole underbody of the car is. I mean, all the way from the front bumper to all the way behind, except where we hit a rock, of course. It's quite a funny story, really. I guess the last guy forgot to pay the trunk subscription or something, because no matter what we did, our trunk just would not open. Not the button on the fob, not the button inside, not even the emergency release lever. A little deep dive on the forums will show you that I guess it's not too rare of a problem. I guess the release cable gets like jammed or something like that. Anyways, our social media guy is bringing it back from an appointment to get that looked at, and well, Rallysport Direct lives right off of one of the most notorious highways in Utah for road debris. And I guess a Geneva Rock truck, shout out Geneva Rock, really appreciate it, dumped a bunch of rocks all over the highway. And well, while a social media guy dodged most, the car had to unfortunately eat a couple. So I'm guessing one smashed up that underbody plastic you guys saw, and another one, well, destroyed the rear passenger tire. Anyways though, got all that taken care of. I mean, besides the underbody plastic, I think that's still to be determined. It is just extremely flat. A drag coefficient of 0.32 is nothing to laugh at and nothing to really celebrate. I mean, it is about the exact same drag coefficient as the old Mark IV Supra, for example. All right, underneath the engine bay, we got a OLM carbon fiber radiator cooling plate. Looks the part, and I'm sure it does the job as well. We have some engine dress-up bolts in red. I have a carbon fiber coolant reservoir cap, looks like. Let's pop the engine cover and feast our eyes on some German engineering, shall we? Ah yes, German engineering indeed. Hoses, wires, pipes, whatever you want to call them, just absolutely running everywhere. Honestly, not really looking forward to working on this thing. Cool thing to mention about this piece of German engineering is that, well, it has a water-cooled intake manifold. So engine coolant runs through here, cooling the intake air coming, well, into the engine. The good thing about it is that by upgrading one of the radiators, this thing actually has 3. The front center one is for, well, specifically for this, while the 2 side ones cool the engine and transmission. So by upgrading that front center radiator, you can actually see your intake air temps drop by quite a bit. And it is made of plastic, but I mean, so are a lot of things on cars now. I've heard that this thing can actually stand up to a lot of abuse and, well, a lot of horsepower. My biggest issue with this car is that, well, it doesn't have an oil dipstick. You heard that right. There's no way to check the oil besides take the car on a 20 to 30 minute drive. You know how freaking inconvenient that is? Like, you could usually just pop a hood on a car, pop your dipstick out, wipe it off, stick it back in, boom, you know how much oil you have. This car, you have to warm up, take for a drive, and then check it electronically. But I mean, besides that, it really is a very sweet car. I mean, it almost feels like it's 2 different cars, no pun intended. When you're just cruising around town, it's actually really comfortable, even with the lowering springs. Then when you approach the mouth of a canyon and put it in sport, boy, it is just a whole different beast. Moving on into the interior of the car. Man, not gonna lie, the cabin feels quite a bit crammed. I mean, I'm pretty sure all these come with blind spot monitoring, and they better, because the blind spot visibility in this thing really sucks. And also, you can barely see the front hood. I mean, I'm 6'2", still got, you know, a decent like 3-4 inches off of the roof though. So, I mean, if you're like 6'8", I'm sorry, you're probably gonna have a bad time in this car. Anyways though, the only modification in here is the OLM carbon steering wheel. We also carry those, by the way. Yeah, I really think this car should have just came with a steering wheel like this in the first place. I mean, for the price point, you got this whole carbon center console, and yet, look at the steering wheel that comes in this thing. It's not even flat bottom. That's like sports car law nowadays. If you sell a sports car, it's gotta come with a flat bottom steering wheel. So yeah, anyways, if you drive your A90 Supra a lot, definitely recommend picking up one of these. It feels just miles better than the stock steering wheel. But I mean, besides that, there's nothing else really modded in the interior or on the car. We've pretty much went over everything. Before we move on to why we got this car and, well, our plans with it, let's beat the dead horse a little bit more, shall we? Why did Toyota go to BMW for this car? Well, you see, Toyota most likely knew that if they developed this car themselves, anything that they made for it, like the engine, transmission, suspension, was most likely not going to be used anywhere else. And I mean, developing chassis, engines, transmissions, well, that costs billions and billions of dollars and takes years. So Toyota thought to themselves, who makes good straight sixes nowadays, and good driver cars at that? Well, the only option left at this point is, well, Bavaria itself. I mean, don't get me wrong, BMWs are known for really, really stupid engineering, being an absolute pain in the ass to work on. I know, I've worked on BMWs, mostly older ones, which are honestly even less complicated than the newer ones, but the engines themselves are amazing. I mean, look at the new S58 motor in the new M cars. There's people that have literally pushed over 1,000 horsepower with stock internals. That is absolutely insanity. This B58 itself is easily capable of about 700 on stock internals, which is also insane considering it comes with, in this year, what they claim to be 330 something horsepower, but in reality it dynoed more like 345 at the wheels, and then in the subsequent year when they bumped it up to 380 at crank, it was dynoing 380 at the wheels. So yeah, nice little kind of 90s era gentleman's agreement, little sneakery there. So why exactly did we get this car? Well, with Subaru's lineup, let's be honest here, looking a little bit boring this year, and while WRXL struggling, we thought, you know what? Let's get another non-Subaru again. Having a non-Subaru car is nothing new to us. We've had Evos, we've had a Mazda Speed 3, a Golf GTI even, I mean a Fiesta ST, a Focus RS, so having a non-Subaru car is nothing really that new to us. I guess it has just been a few years. As for our plans with this car, well, that's still kind of up in the air a little bit. We'll kind of play it by ear as we go, but we're definitely getting some wheels for it, replacing that sketchy downpipe that we have no idea where it came from. And I mean, we got to take it down to the dyno, as all we were told was that it's tuned, yet we weren't given any horsepower numbers, and the curiosity is absolutely eating at me. And yeah, that'll about do it for our Supra unveil, guys. If you want to stay tuned, the next time you'll see this car, we'll be comparing it to a Mark IV Supra side by side. So if you want to see that and know when it comes out, you should probably hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, throw me a like. And as always, see you guys in the next one.